Hi, it's me, Sarah from Someday Sarah. I'm just getting ready to start the fans that go all around the triangle of the bandana. I'll just zoom into one right there. So we're going to be putting those on this bandana in those spaces. So I've got all my materials ready, everything I think I'll need: stitch markers, hook, scissors, thread. Hopefully I've got enough thread. And let's get going. While I'm working, I have my pattern set up right here on my screen. I wrote that this morning so I can follow it and make sure I do everything as planned so I can share it with you. To begin, just to let you know that we need to repeat this process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I'll start with this one and then I'll go away and finish these ones, which will be identical. And then we'll come back and we'll do stitch all the way around, and I'll show you how to do that. Before we begin, I'm going to mark off a couple of spots up on here so you can see exactly where we're working into. I've got my stitch markers. I'm going to mark where we start right here. I'll pop these off when we get going, but we're going to do a fan over to this side right there. It's in them, always into the middle bump. So there's 5 stitches on there, so right into the middle one. And then when we finish the whole thing, so we're going to go across to there and then up there, back over again to the middle bump, and then we'll finish back on the other side. So from this center point, stretch that out, we've got 2 bumps and the middle stitch of each of those. So we're going to start right here on this orange one with a slip stitch. So we're going to slip into the 3rd stitch of that first bump on the right. So we're going to slip into there. Pull the thread through, and we're going to do 5 double crochets along this first half of this part here. I'm going to take the tail from that one and put it right across and go over it. So that's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now for the 6th stitch, we're going to go right into the middle of that post there. Make sure you pick up 2 threads from it, and then we're going to go, I'm keeping the tail in there, 1 right in the middle. Now we need another 5 on the other half over here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And after the 5th one, we are going to slip a stitch over into the first bump. Just need to get that tail out of the way. We'll tuck that in later. We'll have lots of tails to clean up later. So in the third stitch of the first bump over here, we are going to do a slip stitch into there, and that will hold that side in place. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do a slip stitch into the third stitch of the next bump on the same side. So slip into there. Now we chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to go back the other way, and we're going to be doing a double crochet in every other stitch with chain 2 between each. So we flip over because we're going back. So, not the one we just came from. It's easiest if you look at your posts. So that stitch was above that post. We're going to skip one and then go into this one with a double crochet. So we skipped one double crochet. Now we'll chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to skip a double crochet and go into the next one with a double crochet. 1, 2, chain 2, skip 1, it goes in, chain 2, skip 1, and then a double crochet in there, chain 2, and we're back to the original side. Mine's got a little loose, so I'm going to pull that in and do a double crochet in the very last stitch, which will sit along the side there because we're going to slip that into the next bump. Slip stitch in there to hold it tight to the side. Okay, I'm going to flip over and show you what we've done. So we had 11 double crochets on the first row with 1 in the middle, so 5 and then 1, then 5. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets in the next row with 5 spaces with 2 chains between each. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create these bumps like flower petals across these 5 spaces. So each one of these bumps is a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, half double crochet, a single crochet, and then you move on to the next bump. So here we go. So right into the space. Single, half double, double, half double, single, and then repeat 4 more times. Oops. Redo that double in the middle. There we go. Half double, single, half double, double, half double, single, single, half double, double, half double, single, single, half double, double, half double, and a single. And then what we're going to do is slip into that same space, pull that through. We're going to cut that so we can keep pulling that through all the way through to tie it off. There we go. So, because I've used a separate color, you can really see where the fan sits between those two sides. We're gonna have lots of little tails to tie in when we're done, which is apparent when you look at the back, but that's okay. All right, so now we're going to repeat, 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 repeat in each of the spots. I'll leave that up to you. I'll come back and show you what I've got. So next we're gonna go and there, and there, and there, and there, and this one. For the very last one, I have left the thread attached and just pulled it through instead of cutting it off, because for the very next step, we're going to go all the way around and slip into each of the third stitches of each bump as we go. Hi, it's me, Sarah, again. I'm back. I took a little break last night. It got a little dark in the room for recording, and this is where we left off. I've pulled the thread through what I had left of the ball so that we can continue all the way around. I'll show you on the original. Turn it this way. On the very edges right here, you can see that on each of the bumps, there's this line that goes around. So it holds the edges of the entire bandana together across the top. I'm gonna do this one all the way around. So we'll start here. Go in the stitch, the last stitch that we did, pull through to make a loop, and chain 1, 2, 3, and into the first bump. There we go. And slip into there. And then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, next bump, slip into there. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the third stitch, the middle stitch of every single bump. 1, 2, 3. There. 1, 2, 3. And then slip into there. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to jump to the third stitch of that side fan. There we go. 1, So we are just gonna continue all the way around the entire thing with 3 chains and a slip stitch in the top of each one. I'm going to continue all the way around till we get back to the beginning right here where I will tie it off. So I've gone all the way around, starting from here all the way around. On the middle stitch of each bump I've done a slip with 3 chains in between each one. So 3 chains, slip, 3 chains, slip, all the way around. And where the gaps are a little bit bigger, I jump from this middle stitch to this middle stitch with continuing with 3 chains in between. We're at the very end here, coming back to where we started, which was right here. I'll just finish that off. Third stitch, slip, 1, 2, 3, jump over, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, almost done, almost at the beginning. If you've gotten this far in the bandana, that is awesome, and I'm sure it is looking great. A lot of very small details go into this. I need scissors, there they are. I'm going to cut my thread because I got back to the first stitch. I'm going to pull it through. There we go. Now I really like how that stitch all the way around has tied in the colors. It's made the colors work together. My black one, I guess I didn't really need it around the bottom, made it a bit more flowy, but I did have it around the top where it would be on your forehead. It kind of holds the parts together. And the bottom, I did not have it. Around these sides, I did not have it. So that's up to you. You can either just go across the top or all the way around. So, one thing I'd like to do next is clean up a lot of the loose threads. We'll flip this over, I'll show you. There's a lot of threads everywhere. So I'm gonna take a very fine darning needle and I'm gonna sew in each loose thread into areas like this where I've got all these little loops I can hide them in. So I'm gonna come back and those will be all cleaned up like that. So the next part of making this triangle into an actual bandana would be, let's see if I can show you. I put my hands in, you can see that part. So what I did was from the sides here, I made a band on both sides, and then I put matching elastics in between. So I just have black elastics here. This part here is just very simple crochet back and forth until I got to a good distance that I could make the elastics work. So I will work out how I'm going to make that band in details so that I can show you. But also another option that you can do to make this is just have a cord, like kind of like an I-cord. You can knit an I-cord, you can crochet just basically a straight band using a chainless foundation row and then a second row of double crochet, just like a thin band, and then you can use that to tie it on. I'm going to make 2 pieces 10 inches each for each side, and so that way they'll be able to be tied behind. I'm going to start with a slip knot. One, two, three, chain 4, because we're going to do a double crochet chainless foundation. Wrap over, go back to the first stitch in 2 of them, pull through, and then pull through again, pull through 2 and pull through 1 more. Wrap over, go back to the second stitch that you can find. There we go. Get that. We're going to pull through once, twice, 3, and 4. Now the third stitch in. This should start forming that foundation chain and the first row of double crochets all at the same time. So pull through once, pull through again, pull through 2, pull through the last 2, wrap over the 4th stitch there, pull through once, pull through twice, pull through 2, oopsie, and then pull through 2 more and be done that stitch. So you start to see a pattern happen. So each stitch is the equivalent of the chain foundation plus a row of double crochets. I have a video on my earlier on where I showed in close detail how to do this chainless foundation. Now I'm going to keep going until this measures 10 inches, and then I'm going to attach this color and come back and do it again so it'll have a stripe. And just like that, I've got 10 inches. So I'm going to cut off this color, and I'm going to attach, pull that through, tie it off. I'm going to attach this color. I'm going to do an entire row of double crochet followed by a row of single crochets so that we have the same amount of stitches. You're going to pull that through that last stitch. There we go. Slipped off. There we go. Make sure I have enough tail that I don't lose it. Gonna chain up 2, 1, 2. Here you can have a choice. You can chain up 2 or chain up 3. I prefer to chain up 2 sometimes when I'm doing a double crochet on the next row. Now I'm going to continue to double crochet in every stitch all the way back. So we'll have a stripe that's the same. Once I do a single crochet on the other side, it will be the same depth as that. And now I've double crocheted all the way back. I come to this end. I need to go up 1, turn, and now I'm going to do the single crochet row so that the blue and the green are the same height. So we'll start with a single crochet there. All the way to the end again. Now I'm all the way back at the other side. I'm going to pass that through there. Pull that tight. Now I need enough thread left over from here to sew it onto the bandana. So I'm going to cut that about, I don't know, 7 inches maybe. And we're going to sew that here, but I'm going to sew it so it sits behind the white, so we still have that nice trim there. I'm going to have to darn in these ends, sew that in. And then we'll make the same on the other side. And I'll come back with that. So here is the completed example of how we do the tie back. So this is what you would use to tie the bandana on. I'm just going to do the one on this side because I'm going to do the other version on the other side the way I have it on the black bandana, which I prefer so that I don't have to tie it. The black bandana has elastics on it. There. So that's also how I will do this one in the end. But I just wanted to show you how you could do it without that, just something to tie it on. Also, if you want this thicker, you could go back and forth another time or two, whatever you prefer. So like I was saying before, I darned it on behind. So I took a stitch from each of these and a stitch from there, making sure that I took 2 loops from each side when I was sewing it on to give that more strength. And then I left the white exposed up there so you can see the trim. I liked the thickness of the strap that I had on this bandana, on the black bandana. So I'm going to add 10 stitches from the back side once again, keeping the trim. And I need to add in 10 stitches across here. So I'll do 5 from here and 5 from here. So I'll start here, pull through. I am leaving that white trim exposed on the front. So we'll do a chain 2. See how I'm spacing them across those stitches. 6. Oops. Gonna get a stitch here. There we go. 7. 2, 1, 2, turn, wrap around, and double crochet into the next stitch. So now we go back, 10 double crochet. keep going with those 10 stitches until we have enough to reach the back of my neck, which is where we'll have to attach the elastic. Alright, so I've gotten to about 3.5 inches of the thicker band, which is what I need in order to make the elastic backing. Like this one, I've measured comparing the two on how wide they are. And I've decided that I'd like to have a white, just a thin white trim around the outside. So I'm gonna go, you don't need to do this, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna put 2 single crochets in each side of each double crochet, and then across the top in single crochets, and then back, and then I'll tie in those ends. And when I'm done that, I'll come back and show you how I'm gonna loop the elastics through into the double crochet holes. I've done with the green, so I'm gonna cut it off. And feed it through. Take off this stitch marker, feed it through the loop, pull it tight, and I'm gonna have to sew that end in. Hi, I've been away for a day or two. I got the kids off to school, finally back to school. So here I am. Off screen, I've stitched some white around the one side that I was working on. And I took off the tie back and I've added a second one to match to go for the elastic version of the bandana. I'm gonna cut off the green here. And I'm gonna show you, scissors are not sharp. I'm gonna show you how I got that white trim going. So I'm gonna start here where it meets. I'm gonna loop in some of the white so there's no gap, and grab inside the side of that double crochet. Pull a loop through. Pull through. So what I can do is while I'm going, I can stitch in this end here. So it'll be tucked inside the white. So we're gonna do, that's just kind of slipped there, so I'm not gonna count it as a stitch. I'm gonna do 2 single crochets inside the side of that green double crochet there. I'll continue that to the next one. 2 single crochets, and I'm gonna go all the way up the entire piece. 2 single crochets in every single gap. And when I get to the top, I'll do 2 on the side of that one, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch. And then come back down this side, 2 in each side, and then including this white part, loop in there and tie off. I'm at the corner now, so 2 stitches in the side of the last double crochet. I have a tail of green up here, so I'm just gonna hold it down there, turn the corner, and go into that stitch right there. It's actually the second stitch over. And a single stitch, one single crochet in each stitch going across the top. Tucking in that tail as I go by wrapping it inside the stitch. It's just laying across the top. There. going, and come back in a minute. I'm back at the other end. Almost done, actually, the whole thing. Now, last 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and because I do not want a gap between that white and that white, I'm gonna hook into that white and pull that through, slip it through before I cut it. So then they're attached and there's no gap. Pull that through. I've got to sew in all my ends. I'll do that off camera. And I've got to go find some elastics. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have elastics that weave through here and attach those 2 sides together, and we'll have the bandana. Hi, I'm back again. It's almost done. I'm excited. So here's the original bandana. You can see they are different sizes, which is okay, because this one fits perfectly for short hair and this one will be better for people with more hair. Anyhow, that's that. We have 1 step left. We need to get the elastics in the back. This has 2 knots. I did 2 separate elastics. So we'll start by finding a hole. We're going to go through the second, between the second last, oops, I'll use a bigger hook. Hopefully this one will work just fine. There we go. I'll put it through the 2nd and 3rd stitch there, 2nd and 3rd stitch there, small hook, pull it through. I changed my mind about my elastic. I really prefer how this is 2 pieces, because then it doesn't fold it or pull it tight. So I've cut this elastic in half. I luckily have enough space that it'll still fit. I'm just gonna tie those together, and then I'll show you how this one worked out. Oof. Tight. And that one. They're really short, they're hard to tie. There we go. So now I've got 2 elastics there. I didn't need much space on mine because it fit nice and big. Also, I don't have much hair, so that works out nicely for me. Make sure when you tie and cut off your elastics that you have enough length to go around your head before you cut it. So there we go. Now, all done. I'd love to know how they worked out for you. I'd love to know what works, what doesn't work, what you liked about my videos. Please share with me. Thanks. Remember, subscribe, follow. I've got lots more great things coming. I have more ideas in my head than I can possibly ever make. So stay tuned. Thanks. Bye-bye.